You better stay down, Terry. Pilote cuts lazily through the crease, speaking to the crumpled goalie at his feet. Sawchuk was down, face first on the anesthetic ice. So here was the luxury of disaster, the dreamy letting go of 1,000 things. Let someone else look after everything now, slide and glide for it. He knew exactly what was on the way when Hull got room to let one fly. His choices were few. Come out and cut down the angle, or go take the job with his father-in-law. 120 miles an hour, he takes one full force on his shoulder. The crack of bone like a roof beam giving way. He hears familiar voices kneeling close. Man, oh man, he's hit like the ice like he's been shot. Those useless goddamn shoulder pads, how many times did I tell him that? He hears the mocking serenade begin again. What does he care about the crowd? He's heard it all before. In this world, though, the softly spoken words are the hardest to swallow. You better stay down, Terry. And Terry hears his own guys at the net. You hear that little prick? And skating through the crease like that? Stemkowski says nothing, watching Pilote skate slowly back to his bench. So Pilote was the one who fanned the flame. By the time he stepped off the ice, he was having second thoughts himself. You'd have said Terry was done the way he went down. But you don't need to look around now to know who's on his feet. The singing fades away. Billy's peering down at the bench, tapping his head beneath his hat. Wake the fuck up. Pilote takes a swig of water and spits it out. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And hadn't he felt those eyes on him all the way back to the bench? Bloody Stemkowski, the corners were going to get interesting too.
Ow.
It's a terrible photograph of Terry. Blurry, doctored in an amateur's way. Still, in the deep slump of his body, you see his agony and sagging spirit.
It's a close place. Chicago, 1967. Last go-round for an aging team. Last of the 16 league. When he goes down, you get your waltzing in the crease, some half-hearted shouting, a tepid insult or two. But everyone out there knows the name of the game. He was flat on his face for 15 minutes. He'd only just come into the game when Hull wound up and let one go. It looks at first as if his head is gone. You take a closer look at the photograph and try and sort out what belongs to whom. And you see he's on his feet, but he's turned his back on his crease and the milling players and Haggart, the trainer. And who could blame him? Bound looks worried, but keeps his distance. Haggart comes closer, but warily. You look at Terry's lowered head and wonder at the crudely touched up curly hair. Where does that come from? You think of beaten soldiers slogging back to the beach. 20 years of taking heavy shots, of having to rally your nerves. Now this, howdy dookie, yuki, blast from Hull. The signs of defeat are clearly there. The taped up hand that holds the damaged arm. The body that only wants to curl into itself. The terminating 30s on his sleeves. You know there's not a lot of chatter on the bench. Imlich's got his hat tipped back in misery. A second goalie down. It's a close place. The score tied at 2. The series at 2. A season and more that dangles by a thread. It may be a bad photograph, but it caught a weighty moment in the age. The crowd's on its feet and the singing begins. Some are amazed that he ever got up, but they all join in. Goodbye, Terry, goodbye. Arm in arm they sway from side to side, the singing, rising, soaring, lifting the building. Wouldn't you know it though, he snarls when Haggart asks him how he feels. I stopped the fucking puck, didn't I?
Yeah!
And turns to glare in his fury at who? Not Hull? Pilotes. What's up here? What's this about? Haggie's craning, trying to see, and feels the creep of hair at the back of his neck. Something's happening here. Precariously, he turns and slips and skids toward their bench. He's got to get back to punch with the news. He's not even gonna wait for another